keep on amazing. For the care that keeps you amazing, visit Baptist-Health.com.
The best TV experience in the nation is available locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Dish has the Hopper 3, the most advanced DVR, and delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recording anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now, WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or stop by our location at the corner of Phoenix and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, or visit us online at shopwownow.com. Get the Hopper 3 today by calling WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. Or online at shopwownow.com.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
Winner! Winner!
The next time you walk into your local lottery retailer, you could walk out with a big cash payout. The new Payout family offers 5 different scratch-offs that range from $1 to $20, with prizes from $5,000 all the way up to $500,000. So, whether you're stopping for gas or a cup of coffee, don't forget, you could win an instant jackpot if you grab a payout on your way out. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling has a new owner, Andy Herod, and he is ready to make your auto body repairs today. If you live in Barling, Central, Lavaca, or Charleston, Colorworks is your local auto body repair shop. Andy provides superior auto body repair and paint work in addition to working with your insurance company to make your claim as easy as possible. If you have a collision and need repairs, ask for Andy at Colorworks, 1206 4th Street in Barling across from CV's, or call 434-2639.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Lots of sunshine with us today. Our high temperatures this afternoon, mid-60s north, low 70s south. We will see an increase in the clouds tonight, possibly a few isolated thunderstorms further south tonight. Overnight lows will drop down into the low 40s north, right around 50 south. Widespread showers and a few thunderstorms for Saturday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith, from the Bush and Bushlight Studios. This is ESPN 95.3.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry. You know, anything travels that far, I'd have a damn stewardess on it, don't you think?
With Phil Elson.
Bill, I think you do a spectacular job.
And Tye Richardson.
Tye, I love the way you talk, buddy.
Pack your bags, load them up, gas the car, and raise that bright red flag to the skies. 423 miles away, the Emerald City awaits. The Hogs are going to Omaha.
All right, hold on, it's almost halftime.
Well, there's a good bet. If Arkansas does go to Omaha, then they may be playing one of the teams that they're playing this weekend. As today, this is location number 17, 18, 19, something like that. I don't know if we settled on a hard number of the number of places we've set up for a mobile studio. And I forgot to send out a photo on the Twitter machine from today's location. As made the drive, I would let everybody know yesterday, we made the drive from Little Rock, 5 hours to Nashville. Got in about 10 in the evening last night with a stop at Casey Jones Village outside Jackson, Tennessee. Happened to be eating at the same restaurant that the UCA baseball team was eating at on their way to a series at Tennessee Tech, which is about an hour and a half further down the road from where we are today on campus at Vanderbilt University at one of the more unique settings, I think, for college baseball, at least unique as far as the places that I've been to cover baseball, and definitely around the SEC. Stands out from Arkansas, no doubt, where you have an off-campus facility I know Fayetteville's a city, but it's not quite as large or as urban, would be the right term, as Nashville, where, of course, Vanderbilt is located. And we're right next door to the other two of the main athletics facilities at Vanderbilt. Football Stadium is just past third base, literally right past third base. It's butted up against Hawkins Field, the baseball park, and Memorial Gymnasium is a short home run away because the left field porch here at Hawkins Field is just 310 feet away from home plate. So I'm pretty sure that's the shortest distance to the outfield fence in any ballpark in the SEC. So it wouldn't be a long home run. It'd be a short home run to get it off of the basketball facility, too. So we've got 3 big games coming up this weekend as Arkansas's ribeye portion of the baseball schedule continues with the second best RPI in the country. That's what Vanderbilt brings in. Arkansas's RPI is 4th. This is also a matchup of 2 teams that can really swing the bats. Arkansas this year, let's see, looking at a team average of 291, Vanderbilt batting 308, both teams with near the same amount of home runs, 37 by Arkansas, 39 by Vandy. Both of Vandy's got a few more runs scored per game, but this ought to be a great series. And definitely one thing we'll be talking about later is whether or not Arkansas pitching can handle the bats here at Hawkins Field.
And in that kind of weird, Phil, because you think about over the years with Vanderbilt, with Price, Bueller, and some of the other guys they've had on the mound, this is traditionally Corbin's had more of a pitching team, more of a team that gets it done by the guys on the mound. The hitting has been good. You have Swanson and a couple other guys that have come through and been really good in those areas. But I think, and you could probably talk more about this than I can, this is typically more of a team that's better on the mound than they are behind the plate, right?
I think they've had their share of hitters too. I'm thinking of like a guy like Pedro Alvarez, who played third base, was a top pick overall. You mentioned Dansby Swanson, and you're right. I mean, this year's team at Vanderbilt probably leans a little heavier towards hitting, but they still have plenty of pitching. They've got the guy that Arkansas will be facing tonight is Drake Fellows, a right-handed pitcher who's 6-0. With an ERA of 3.44. Patrick Raby will pitch on Saturday. He's making his 9th start, 5-1 record, 247. They got a really talented freshman who Bill King told us about a couple of months ago, Kumar Rocker, that'll make the start on Saturday. Arkansas, of course, will throw Isaiah Campbell today. I think they've got the edge as far as the starting pitching today. Connor Noland announced as the Saturday starting pitcher, and then it's a TBA for Sunday. And I think we got into it a little bit yesterday. I think you'll see the same plan that Dave Van Horn and Matt Hobbs used for the series win at Auburn, where you open up Sunday's start as a TBA, and that frees Cody Scroggins to work out of the bullpen if you need him. And usually they say if they say if we need him, that means we need him. They need him to work out of the bullpen. With Jacob Kostychuk still expected to miss this series with the inflamed forearm. But he's still traveling with the team, so that's good news. I think they're still targeting Kostychuk to be healthy for next week when Mississippi State comes into Fayetteville. So then I think you'll see Cody work out of the bullpen twice, and then probably have Patrick Wicklander throw on Sunday. This is going to be a great series, and then of course next week you get Mississippi State, which is a team that's just one game back of Arkansas in the crazy SEC West standings. This is crazy, Ty. You've got 6 teams, all separated by 1 game going into the 5th week of SEC baseball. And obviously things they won't be that tight for the remainder of the season, but I mean it's pretty difficult to separate Arkansas and Auburn and Mississippi State and Ole Miss and LSU and Texas A&M from each other. The one team you could separate is Alabama, and they're 4-8, so they're the only team in the West with a losing conference record. Vanderbilt is just a game out of first place in the East behind Georgia. They just dropped 2 out of 3 to the Bulldogs, and Vandy with a 25-8 overall record, 7-5 in the SEC. All right, we'll talk more baseball later on. We've got Max Hers, who's a good friend of Ty's from his time here in Nashville, and also someone who I've gotten to know fairly well. He's from my neighborhood in Pittsburgh. I think we had him on. Did we have him on during football season?
I think during football season before that game that Vanderbilt beat Arkansas, unfortunately.
That's right. So Max is going to be coming on during the second hour, and it's one of those rare instances where we'll actually have a guest with us live, not on the phone, with me in Nashville. So
I'm excited about that.
That makes it feel a little bit different. Aaron Torres will come on later on in hour number 1, and I've been excited to talk with Aaron ever since the Eric Musselman hire became official on Sunday, and of course it really became official for the press conference on Monday. But AT knows Musselman fairly well, I think, as far as a media sense goes. He probably has more of a knowledge of Eric Musselman than most others in the national media. I know he's had him on the Aaron Torres Sports podcast a couple of times. He's kind of been promoting the Musselman brand now for a couple of years as one of the up-and-coming college head coaches. And I think it'll be really interesting to get Torres' opinions on why he thinks Musselman will be a good hire at Arkansas. He's already been pretty out there saying that he thought it was a home run hire. I'd also like to get his opinions as to whom of these Nevada transfers may be a good fit for Musselman's new team, for Musselmania's new team.
Is that what we're going with? Are you going to hop on that bandwagon?
I don't know if I can necessarily call him that over and over again because, what's the other one? Must Bus, right?
Yeah, Must Bus and Musselmania have really been the two catchphrases that have emerged. The U of A marketing team is going to do something with pace and space because he continues to repeat that phrase over and over in press conferences and interviews. But I feel like Musselmania has kind of emerged as the leading candidate for the marketing department to do something, whether it's T-shirts. And Rock City down in Little Rock has already made Musselmania T-shirts. So I think a couple people are going to hop on top of that bandwagon.
Better be careful, Rock City Tees, because I remember a couple of years ago when we popularized the Sueyville Sluggers thing.
Yeah.
They made some Sueyville Sluggers T-shirts to make it look like a Louisville Slugger logo, and they promptly got a cease and desist from the university. So those T-shirts died a pretty quick death. I don't know if that'll be the case with this with the Musselmania thing. Although maybe you get a cease and desist from WWE. and then what are you going to do? Go up against Vince McMahon?
Yeah, I wouldn't challenge him in the ring or in court either. I'd stay away from that.
I like Musselmania. I do. I hesitate to create marketing slogans that are supposed to be exciting and talk about the excitement of a program where right now you don't know what next year is going to be like, and that kind of gets us into the conversation about these transfers for Nevada. Because you've got 3 available scholarships right now for the 2019-2020 basketball season, and you just know, even if nobody else transfers out, and there might be another 1 or 2 that decide that Arkansas isn't the place for them, and that they think that moving on to another spot is the best idea. It's obvious that virtually all of the players that Musselman recruited to Nevada went there for him. They didn't go there to be a part of the Nevada brand. They were going there to be a part of the Musselmania brand. And after the hiring of Steve Alford at Nevada, it doesn't look like Coach Alford's got many players left to coach. I don't think he was a really good college player in his own right at Indiana, but I think he's out of eligibility. Otherwise, he's the only guy they've got left right now.
I think they have 2 scholarship players remaining on the roster, which is just incredible to think about. And Musselman used a lot of these transfers incoming to his advantage, and now with graduating players and with other players moving on, it looks like it's going to really hurt Steve Alford, which, by the way, I don't know if you saw the reaction from different Nevada fans concerning the hiring of Steve Alford, but they're not happy. Based on social media, they are not happy about this hire. And I don't know if that's because they don't think he's going to be a good coach based on what happened at UCLA and kind of the fallout there, or if they just loved and got ingrained with the ideas and the social media presence and just all of Musselman, what he brought to the table, and they feel like that it's just going to be a drop-off based on that. But it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people getting in line with Steve Alford, Nevada fans at least, being the next head coach.
And Aaron is another one of those people.
Yeah.
I find this interesting too because, and I know we're an Arkansas show, we're not a Nevada show, but Steve Alford won consistently in that same league at New Mexico. So whatever happened at UCLA happened at UCLA. That happened in the Pac-12. That happened at a program with a much higher degree of expectations and a bigger spotlight on them. Nevada's not UCLA. They're not even really New Mexico. They're Nevada. So for me, it more seems that the Nevada fan base, at least these fans who are unhappy with the hiring of Steve Alford, maybe they share the same opinion that I think Aaron shares, which is that Musselman brought, aside from the winning, a brand of excitement, a brand of intensity, a brand of a coach that seems like it could be easy to rally around as a group of players, as a group of fans. And Alford's different than that. He doesn't exude that energy. He doesn't have that. I mean, he looks like a pretty intense guy, but there's a difference between being quietly intense and being noisily intense. And I think Musselman seems to come across more like he's got more of that noisy intensity, which can be a really good thing. I think that's what some Arkansas fans want. A little more outward emotion during games towards players, towards officials, and just overall intensity that you're seeing during the game. So I just think that it's more of a reflection of that. The Nevada fans probably, they understand Musselman leaving for Arkansas, for more money, for better facilities, for just an overall better league, and it's a step up from where Nevada was. And I think they get that. I just think that they would have rather had somebody that probably would have kept their team together, one of the assistant coaches, because they had a really good crop of talented players that were coming in this next year, and now they're all transferring out.
And it seemed like the players wanted one of the assistant coaches, correct me if I get his right name, Gus Arsenal. It's like Arsgenal. It seemed I saw a couple of players talking about him becoming the next in line for head coach, but now he was interviewing, I think, for somewhere in Idaho, maybe Idaho State or something, and so Alford gets the job, and it doesn't seem like that people are on board with that hire. But it's just interesting with Alford how he has that personality, being out there in social media and being emphatic in how he reacts towards his players, fans, taking his shirt off and whatnot. Phil, he's made the rounds on national radio shows. You think about all the national radio shows he's been on. SEC This Morning, Feinbaum, Jim Rome, Doug Gottlieb. Like, he has made the rounds that I don't know if you would have hired maybe a lesser-known name that it would have had the same national impact. Because I'll go back to what I said the first show after he was hired on Monday. I think fans are more on board with this hire based on the reception from the national media than anything else. Because if you see national media members that you respect from a college basketball standpoint say, this is a great hire, it's going to work out well, this is a good fit, then that kind of leads you to the thinking, hey, maybe this is going to work, maybe this was a good hire. Because I think at one point in time, and there still could be some people on the fence based on what he has to do left at Arkansas that didn't know about this fit. But based on his appearance with Rome, based on the national media, seems like collectively coming together and saying, I think this is a good hire. I think it's kind of changed the fans' mindset a little bit about Eric Musselman.
So you've got some audio lined up here. He went on all these shows. He went on Jim Rome. So let's play some of that audio about earning players' trust. Because if you're going to bring players in from other programs, then perhaps they've already, in their minds, been lied to by a coach or just not been given the whole truth by a coach. And if you're going to bring a player in who's already been with another program, you got to find a way to earn their trust. And it seems that Muss is pretty good at getting these kids' trust.
You've got to give players a plan going forward. You've got to look at their game, let them know what the positives are, let them know areas of improvement, and then a plan on how they can improve. And that's an area, especially next week, that I got to really dive in with these guys. But I think you earn the trust, really, Jim, just through guys seeing that you care and seeing that you're invested. I think those are the two words that I think kind of equal trust.
And that's what I kind of told you going back a couple days ago. When Cody and Caleb Martin were transferring from NC State, everyone wanted Caleb. Not as many people wanted Cody. And no one really had a plan, coaching-wise, to say this is how you're going to succeed in this program, Cody. Everyone dedicated their time and efforts toward how Caleb was going to succeed. These guys were a package deal. But what Caleb and Cody talked about is how Muss presented a demonstration, presented a plan for both of them to succeed. And that's why they fell in love with him, and that's why they ultimately led the decision for them to go to Nevada. That's why Caleb Martin is probably going to get drafted in the NBA because of this decision. So you just got to wonder if he can have those same ideologies, those same presentations, and that same mindset with other players that are transferred. I don't see why not. If he can do it with a couple guys based on the recruits he brought in, like Jordan Caroline, like the Martin twins and some others, I think he can do the same thing in Arkansas. You got better facilities, more fan support, more money. There's so many more different and better things you have at Arkansas compared to Nevada.
Well, I mean, do you think you can get a 6'11" forward off of their team? Can you get Nevada's Jordan Brown to transfer over to Arkansas? You already know Jazz Johnson, who's their leading scorer, is transferring out. Another Jalen Harris, who started his career at Louisiana Tech and then went over to Nevada for a year, is going to transfer out. You don't need another point guard. You can take as many shooting guards as you can get. This is a team right now that looking ahead, and again, this is based upon who is already on the roster. We don't know who is going to transfer out, but the thought is, and this was obvious at the get-go, this team needs more size. They need more strength, and now you're going to get a group of youngsters who played a lot last year. So the experience thing now is out the window because this is going to turn into a very experienced team. You don't have to bring in a graduate transfer just for the experience idea. You need somebody that can hold court in the paint, that can defend the paint, that can play around the rim. Because right now, Reggie Chaney perhaps can play at times like that. We saw a flash of Ethan Henderson in the NIT game against Providence. But the one thing that needs to make sure that they bring in this year, and probably somebody who can play this year, is a transfer with size and strength. And that, for me, is at the top of this list.
No, I agree 100%. And his reaction to getting in players, getting in recruits is kind of funny. He went on with Bo Mattingly on the Hog Pod, and he talked about his mindset with trying to get players to Arkansas.
Players. So when people ask, like, where are you with this recruiting thing? It's like, well, anyone that's ever been around me, I hate losing more than anybody. I hate losing more than I like winning. I mean, I was walking around campus at about 5:15 this morning, and then I didn't go to bed. I got out of my hotel room at about 1 and made a couple phone calls. So I didn't sleep much. This was just last night. And the reason is because, like, I'm paranoid. Like, you got to have players.
I mean, you want that mentality if you're the Arkansas fans, your head coach. This guy realizes, and he's saying players, but I'm going to kind of take off your point. He needs a center. Like, he needs a dude to come in there.
Players. Right now,
centers, size.
It's like, what's the most important thing for a restaurant? Location. What's the most important thing for Arkansas to bring in this next year? And again, it's not somebody that's got to sit for a year. If this truly is going to be a team, like Musk told these players in that video that was made at Hunter Yurichek's house, if it is the actual truth, if this is an NCAA tournament team as constructed, which I don't believe right now as constructed, they're an NCAA tournament team, you need a center who can play next year, whether you get some sort of a medical hardship or some other sort of hardship, because we've seen in the football side they can sort of take a little slight here or there and turn it into a hardship, and then you end up playing as quickly as you get to campus, or a graduate transfer. I mean, that's the other area that maybe a graduate transfer could be the right player because he doesn't have to sit out a year. But it's no doubt it's centers for this team this year.
And another aspect that we need to get to, and I know we're coming up on a break talking Arkansas Vandy baseball, but you want former players to feel welcome, which is what seems like what Chad Morris is doing. It seems like this coaching staff has made that more of a priority, the Arkansas football team, to invite old players back to watch practice, film, whatever it may be. And it seems like, based on Eric Musselman's comments, he's reached out to certain players. It seems like that's a priority for him as well.
It's been so interesting, Jim, the former players, even Bobby Portis. He ended up texting me, and Patrick Beverly texted, and then I ended up calling him right after one of the games that they had played, and, he wants to come back and work out. And so I think, the pride with those guys that have played here is absolutely incredible. Connecting with these guys I think it's going to be really important. as well for the future of our program, our current guys, and then recruits as well.
Phil, you think about it, a lot of these guys had really good relationships with Mike, whether they played for him or whether they played before him. They had good relationships with Mike, it seems like. So Muss needs to come in here and make sure he can establish those right away, make sure he's respectful, and he has been. Everything he's talked about with Mike, he's been very respectful. This guy did all this for Arkansas. He left me a lot, and it seems like, based on what's happening so far with the former players, that they like to hire Eric Musselman.
All right, baseball preview coming up in the next segment. Aaron Torres, bottom of the hour. We got FOMO or JOMO Friday in hour number 2. Plus, we're talking with Max Hurst and give a further preview. Maybe the better way to look in our talk with Max is a deeper dive into this Vanderbilt team. Before we go to the break, though, I want to talk to anybody that is looking to get into real estate investing, or if you're just looking for a new house, call Quantum Property Services. Buying, selling, or investing, they'll encompass all your property needs. And right now is the time to get with their real estate pros to find a new home because interest rates are low, so you get more house for your money. But you need a pro to help you through the process, and there are many seasoned pros at Quantum Real Estate that know their stuff. They'll guide you through the experience with utter confidence. So, and if you're thinking about getting into real estate investing, Quantum Property Services can find the right property or properties for you and make it hassle-free by managing those properties as well. Call Quantum at 479-434-6860, or you can go online to quantumpropertyservices.com. We'll come back after a quick break. This is Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Tye Sports Radio. This is the Morning Rush.
Listen, we've all worked in places, been in organizations where you've had bosses and people you've worked with that believed in you and supported you, and ones that did and ones that didn't. It's always easier to work in an environment where you work with people that support you versus people that don't. People that believe in you versus people that don't.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
The selection has never been better than right now at Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw, Oklahoma. Scott, it took a little time, but you've got the lot built up, and if you drive by, you can see the difference here at Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford.
Yeah, we hear it every day about how great our selection is. Customers coming in. It took us a few months to really get all the cars in we wanted for our new car selection, but it's here now, and it's ready for you to come select one.
People are seeing the difference of Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford.
That's right. What they know is we have a great reputation at our other store. We've carried that and brought some of the people over here to carry on that legacy of great customer service, great pricing, and everything we can give you for the trade-in.
And people really do make the difference here.
That's right. We know one thing for sure. People buy cars from people. And what we found out is if we treat them right, they'll keep buying cars from us.
Harry Robinson, Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw, Oklahoma. It's just a short drive to save big at Harry Robinson, Salisaw Ford. Tommy Kraft for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, controlled access, and card readers. Call the Fence Man for a quick, no obligations quote. 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Protect your plants from weeds the attractive way with green thumb colored mulch from Meadows Lumber True Value. Right now, get 5 bags for just $15 while supplies last. It acts as a natural weed barrier, manages soil temperature, and helps retain moisture, especially during drier seasons of the year. 2 cubic foot bags come in your choice of red, black, and brown and include a 12-month color guarantee. At this great bargain of the month price, why not stock up today at Meadows Lumber True Value with locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville.
Ford Truck Month may be over, but you can still save big money at Dunn Ford Country in Stigler, Oklahoma. Right now, take $11,000 off new 2018 Ford Expeditions currently in stock. We have 0% financing available on all 2018 F-150s in stock. Want a 2019 F-150? No problem. We have 0% to 0.9% financing on all 2019 F-150s currently in stock. Dunn Ford Country in Stigler, Oklahoma. 888-471-7316 or see us on the web at DunnFordCountry.com. Come make it a done deal with America's best-selling truck for 42 years.
Advanced Mechanical Performance, your premier UTV, off-road, truck, and Jeep repair facility. Whether it's a lift kit, an oil change, or a complete makeover of your machine, Go see Cody and the gang at AMP and get it right the first time. These guys know what they're doing and are doing what they know. Advanced Mechanical Performance, 3201 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith. Call them today at 434-4161.
It's your piece of land, your point of pride, your place of peace and quiet. Your yard means something to you. So mow like you mean business with a professional-grade Gravely zero-turn mower. Gravely means comfort. Gravely means strength. Gravely means cutting precision. Gravely mowers mean business. Gravely, build to mow the distance.
Visit Bush Machine and Tractor, 7301 0 Street in Fort Smith, or at bushtractor.com.
This next segment on Halftime is brought to you by the Kevin Hickey Law Firm, the #1 resource for your child advocacy needs. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
High drive, way back into right field. You can kiss that one goodbye. That cleared the video board. Heston Kjerstad with a grand slam.
Heston Kjerstad wasn't part of the last Arkansas team that battled against a Vanderbilt Commodores baseball team. That was in the 2017 season in mid-May. Arkansas took 2 out of 3 from Vanderbilt on that one. The last time they visited Vanderbilt, they dropped 3 in a row. That was also the season, the SEC opener. They lost 8-7, 9-1, and 1-0. That was a great series, though. Andrew Benintendi, Dansby Swanson, Carson Fulmer, Walker Buehler, all Zach Jackson, all in those teams. That was great baseball. Kjerstad, though, can take advantage of hitting in this ballpark, though, Tye. And I think Kjerstad's ready to explode here in this series because he's very good going the other way with power. Right-handed hitter, left-handed hitter with power to left field and really all fields, which is what separates him. With that short porch and left, I think Kjerstad could take advantage of that and have himself a very big series.
Take it yard, as the baseball players. I'm picking up words and phrases every once in a while.
He could go yard. He could launch a bomb. He could flip the bat, although he never does flip the bat. You know what's crazy though? This is the marquee matchup in the SEC this weekend. And
it's on TV, not just on live. On internet. It's on TV, man. That's when you know it's the real deal.
That's when you know it's SEC Network tonight, ESPNU tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So we got one of those late nights. And then just the radio broadcast with the streaming service, SEC Network Plus, on Sunday at 1 o'clock. But, if Arkansas only wins one game in this series, then they're still in a very good position. Just erase from your mind the idea of the standings in the SEC West, which ultimately that's what you're playing for right now, which is to try to win a division championship. But you're also playing to build a resume for the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee. So if Arkansas wins 1 out of 3 on the road against a team that is ranked 2nd in the country in RPI, and Arkansas's RPI ranking is 4th, then 2 losses in this series isn't going to hurt you all that much. The 1 win would help you tremendously. So if you take 2 out of 3 in this series, you very well could be looking at not just leapfrogging over Vanderbilt, but potentially even coming out of Vandy with the best RPI in the country. So I think Arkansas right now is in a really good position, as long as they win some games, to host. We talked about it yesterday. The Baseball America article comes out with their projections for the week. They had Arkansas with the number 8 seed overall, so that wouldn't just be hosting in the regional. That would be hosting in a super regional if you get through your regional. But when you look at who else is on the schedule, Mississippi State next week, they're 15th in the RPI. Tennessee after that. Tennessee is 11th in the RPI rankings. Then it's at Kentucky, and Kentucky is the 3rd worst RPI in the conference, but they're 43rd in the nation. And then LSU, they're 9th, and then A&M, and A&M is 17th. So it's just because of how the schedule works itself out. If you lose this series, but you defend your home field, you're going to end up hosting. I think this team is in a really, really good position to host. But, of course, it all just comes down to winning games. How do you win these games? I think Arkansas at some point is going to – now, yeah, we can talk about pitching and Isaiah Campbell doing well and maybe a couple extra innings from Connor Nolan if he can get it, and Patrick Wicklander having something like the same start he had last time out at Auburn, and whatever Cody Scroggins does out of the bullpen and get the ball to Cronin in the ninth. This team is scoring runs right now. Over these last 3 games, wins in all of them, they've scored runs. I mean, you look at the 15 in a game, 9-6 win, 8-0 on Saturday, 15-8 Tuesday against Oral Roberts, and they've really done it by crushing the ball. It hasn't been a bunch of cheap base hits. So I'd love to see Arkansas break out the bats here in this road series, which might be tough because I think Vanderbilt's got good pitching, but I do think Arkansas's lineup stacks up against just about anybody else in the SEC, although Vanderbilt's lineup is the same way, and so is Mississippi State. So these next 2 weeks, you might be seeing, aside from Georgia, the 3 best lineups in the SEC.
Gauntlet. What did we talk about a couple weeks ago when they were winning early on in the SEC play? The real testament of the schedule and the testament of this baseball team is going to come down to the latter part of the schedule because that's when it heats up. We all know what everyone's looking to. That last series in Baum against LSU.
That's right. That's right. Can't wait for it. But, oh, man. And even a great Arkansas team against a bad LSU team, there's just something that LSU has over Arkansas, and I can't even describe it. Can't describe it.
It's like A&M, man. Until you beat them, you ain't going to ever pick them to beat them in a series.
What I can describe is we're going to step aside because we've got Aaron Torres coming on. We'll do a lot of talk on Eric Musselman and college basketball with AT on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime.
We're checking in again at the all-new Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw, Oklahoma. One thing you'll see here is the all-new Ford Ranger. This has been out of the Ford lineup for a few years. Scott, you got your first one in. People can come see the all-new Ford Ranger again.
Man, this thing is so much more impressive in person than looking at it online. If you have not seen a Ford Ranger, come out and check this one out. It is absolutely beautiful.
You can see this right here at Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford. Also F-150s. One thing Salisaw Ford had gotten low on inventory. Harry Robinson, you guys have built it back up. Great selection of new Ford F-150s now in stock.
Yeah, we went out, we begged the factory. We said, hey, listen, people here want to buy Fords. They need to buy Fords. In order to do that, we got to have selection. Now that we got selection, we're ready to roll.
Whether it's an F-150, whether it's a Mustang, whether it's an Explorer, whether it's a Flex, they've got them all here at Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw, Oklahoma. Hey, it's a short drive to save big at the all-new Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford.
What matters most to your family can now cost less when you choose comfortable, reliable, and efficient natural gas heating, water heating, cooking, and clothes drying for your home. You make the right choice in today's environment. High-efficiency natural gas appliances can reduce your monthly costs. And right now, you can save even more with heating and water heating rebates from AOG. Visit AOGC.com today and get more comfort for less cost.
You know, a night out with friends can be so much more. Upgrade your evening at 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Rediscover life's simple pleasures. Dial back, slow down, and immerse yourself in what true relaxation can be. Top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your night on the Avenue.
Kick off the season the right way with a new RV from Crabtree RV in Alma. Crabtree is extending our RV show pricing all season long. Check out our spring show specials like a Salem 207 with a slide and bunks for $147 a month. And with RV show pricing, you can take up to $10,000 off of MSRP on new travel trailers and up to $15,000 off new fifth wheels. And we'll still give you more for your trade than the other guys. At Crabtree RV in Alma, where your family's dreams come true.
Where can you get award-winning Memphis-style barbecue in Fort Smith? Whole Hog Cafe on Borough Road across from Cisterna Plaza off 71 South. Feast on world champion barbecue with their famous potato salad and smoky sweet baked beans while watching sports on the big screen. Plan your business meeting in the banquet room that seats 40. If it's a morning meeting, the coffee is on them. And they cater any event, large or small, and provide servers if you want. Open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner and a convenient drive-thru for takeout orders. The new location on Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith is coming soon.
Halftime is brought to you by Orr Auto Park. Score more with Orr. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Joe, for the record, gets it from the corner. Isaiah with the three. That's his 103rd of the year, and he sets an Arkansas record for made three-point baskets in a season.
All right, I've been waiting for this conversation since last week when Eric Musselman was even talked about as a possible candidate at Arkansas. And I've been chomping at the bit since the press conference to bring on our friend Aaron Torres. Because, Aaron, you have been on the Must Bus for a long time now. I know you're a big fan of this hire. First of all, it's good to talk to you. And what do you think of this?
Fellas, it's really good. Listen, we're going to get to what I think in a minute. But here's the bigger question. When this name first started circulating, and I think Arkansas fans still had a little bit of, Chris Bearditis and, maybe a little bit disappointed with Kelvin Sampson. I don't know that the fan base was super behind Eric Musselman as the name became more and more apparent that he may be the guy. And the reason I ask now is because now that you've had the introductory press conference, are you guys more on board? Is the fan base ready to go? Because I sense some trepidation, but I also kind of get the sense that as things have progressed, that the fan base has come around.
It's a little different, Tye. He's interviewing us this time. So I would say,
listen, I need answers.
I didn't have trepidation about it from the start. I trust athletic directors. Maybe I shouldn't when it comes to searching for the right coach. I like the way Hunter Yurachek went at it. I think he picked a very good coach, but I sort of reserve a little bit of the judgment for once we're watching him coach, once we're seeing him build this team, because he's.
Phil,
I know it makes no sense whatsoever to be patient.
You can't. No, come on. You can't just sit here and say, let's see if he wins games. That's so boring.
I know.
That's 1992 sports talk radio. Let's go. we need. Is he going to win a national championship in 3 years or not? No, I'm kidding. I'll say this is, I'm really excited for Arkansas fans. Muss is, and I think I said this 2 or 3 weeks ago when his name first popped up, is he's a force of nature. He's going to get players there. He's going to push them harder than they've ever been pushed before. He's going to win. Look, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be peaks and valleys. But the one thing, coming on with you guys every week this season and going on other shows in the past in Arkansas, I think Arkansas's fans' frustration with Mike Anderson and his teams were they didn't always seem prepared. They didn't always play hard, and it was just up and down, day to day, week to week. 1 week you win 3 straight. The next week you lose 3 out of 4. Peaks and valleys, and that's one thing I don't think is going to happen with Muss. You're going to get consistency. I don't know I can seriously say this. I don't think I know anybody who loves basketball more than Muss. He has no interest outside of basketball. His job is his life as well as his family, of course. But, this is a guy that's 100% dedicated. I think you guys are going to grow to love him.
I also get the sense, and you could see it this year with Arkansas. It was like Mike was almost taken aback by what was lacking on the roster, and it sometimes seemed maybe a little unprepared for certain deficiencies. This year it was a lack of experience and a lack of size, and that proved to be the undoing of this team. And it seems to me that the way Eric Musselman builds a team, that he can kind of fill those holes quickly because he trusts this process of what he's called college basketball free agency with this transfer. And I just get the sense that it's one of the reasons he won so quickly at Nevada.
Well, yeah, so I think for sure. And I think, this was a concern of Arkansas fans that I heard from earlier on in the week. I think this is just the reality of college basketball. I mean, look, John Calipari, maybe the greatest recruiter of high school talent ever, over the last 2 years, has taken 2 grad transfers. And I'll say this, guys, and something I've said a lot. I said it on my podcast. Everybody needs to listen to Monday's show when I did about a half an hour on the Musselman hire. Go back and listen to that. I'll say this for Muss. When I got to know his staff this year, I spent some time in Reno. You almost wonder why everybody doesn't take the same approach that Nevada did and that I believe he will at Arkansas. Now, look, he's still going to recruit top high school players. I know he already has put out an offer to Kyrie Walker, who he was recruiting at Nevada, who I think would have ended up in Nevada if he had stayed. But when you talk to him about, and you talk to his staff about the transfer process, I mean, look, there's always going to be grad transfers, but the sit-out guys are really important, and here's why. First of all, they're an older player. They generally come to school with a chip on their shoulder. Either the last coach lied to them, the last coach got fired, they didn't get what they were promised. And so they come to school with a chip on their shoulder, but they have to sit out for a year. They can't play right away. So they get to learn the system, the culture, the way the coach does things, the way the school works. And I think there's something to be said for a guy that maybe doesn't quite have the upside as a high school player, but is 2 or 3 years older, is comfortable on campus and with his teammates and all that stuff. I think there's real value in that. And so, like I said, as I got to know his staff this year, and I remember sitting on a call with one of his assistants, just kind of nodding my head saying, why doesn't everybody do this? And I think, like I said, I think more coaches are getting attuned to this, that if a kid transfers from another school, it's not always the kid's fault. He's not always a bad kid. It's not because he was some problem child. Sometimes you just don't get along with a coach. Sometimes a coach changes. For whatever reason, more and more coaches are comfortable with this. But as you alluded to, Phil, it seems like Eric Musselman, this is the world that he's most comfortable in living in.
It's a Friday. That means Aaron Torres is our guest, Fox Sports Radio. You talk about some of his recruiting advantages he has, Aaron. What about his NBA background? Arkansas has really never had that at the head coaching position in basketball. How much is his NBA background going to help him recruit players to Arkansas?
Oh, I think it helps a ton. I mean, look, he has been where every kid wants to go. And this is why, by the way, Jordan Brown, a McDonald's All-American, went to Nevada last year. Kyrie Walker, a 5-star player in the class of 2020 that I expect to reclassify and be part of the class of 2019, this is why he wanted to go, because Eric Musselman has that background. And look, I think that's part of, again, why he's so comfortable in that, in that element of roster turnover, whatever. I mean, guys, I'll tell you a true story about him, and I've shared this story many times, and you guys can ask him this if you ever get him on the show. He's talked about it on my podcast, he coached in the CBA. Phil, I don't even know if Tye is old enough to know what the CBA is, but It was this old league. It was like the precursor to the NBDL, but it was a true minor league that wasn't affiliated with the NBA, and it was like the Wild Wild West. I mean, it was just insanity. But Muss tells a story, and again, you guys can ask him this. You can tell him that I tipped you off to it. Is that there was one night where he's in the middle of a playoff race. He's a young coach. He's trying to get to the NBA like everybody else, and his 3 best players overnight all decide to sign big deals in Europe for more money. And his 3 best players in the middle of a playoff series left his team to go play otherwise. So, if you can deal with that, then losing a guy a year early to the NBA or whatever isn't as big of a deal. And so that's why I think he's so perfectly built for this modern era of college basketball. I would add, I think this is why a guy like Chris Beard, with his background at the JUCO level and low-level college basketball, is perfectly built for this era in college basketball. So to me, I'm just saying, I think all of it plays a role. I think it helps in recruiting, but I also think it helps once the kids get on the campus of, like we were talking about at the top, like Phil referenced when Mike Anderson is, with Eric Musselman, you're never going to get it's going to take time, and, our guys we'll just be happy to compete, and we got to get older. It's like, no, we're going to get older, overnight, literally, when we bring in a grad transfer too. And I don't know exactly what Arkansas' situation is, but I'm just a scholarship situation. But I'm just telling you, those kind of excuses do not fly with Eric Musselman.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, they need some size. We hit on that first segment. Size, center. That's what they need. And kind of one of the reasons that Hunter Yurchek really likes Eric Musselman is because he brings a toughness factor. Corey Beck, former Arkansas Razorback, who was a national champion on that 94 team, talked about it playing with him in the CBA on Bo Mattingly's podcast, talked about how he was a tough guy. You've talked about his toughness. Is that his biggest attribute to his persona, how his players echo his toughness on a college basketball court?
I would say so for sure, Ty. And look, and listen, you might be the perfect person to talk about this. You were in the building, were you not, for that 22-point comeback when he was at Nevada against Cincinnati?
I was down there in Nashville, man. I didn't think that they stood a chance in that game. And I was sitting next to our buddy who we have on every once in a while, Blake Lovell, and he said, just watch. And I was just taking, but he had watched them a lot more. And sure enough, Caleb Martin, Cody Martin, Jordan Caroline, let them right back.
Well, and that's exactly it. It is, and I remember they played a game, Nevada, at Staples Center against Arizona State, who ended up being a tournament team this past year. So this previous season that just finished. It was a similar deal. I think they were down maybe 12 at halftime. And the crazy thing is they actually won going away. They won by like 8 or 9. So it was like a 20-point swing in the second half. And I just remember, kind of seeing the assistant coaches in the hallway and all that stuff. But what stuck out to me was that at that time, and now look, they had struggles down the backstretch of the season in Nevada. Some teams do. It happens. It's part of sports, right? Not every year is going to be a Disney movie. But the look in talking to the coaches, the look in their eyes and the look in the players' eyes, that they just believed that they were built to win that game. And it's something about Coach Musselman. I don't know what it is, but I don't know if it's because his practices are so hard, because he challenges his guys so much, but it's almost, they're not afraid of the moment, right? I hope this doesn't come off like I'm saying he's like this particular coach that I'm talking about. But, when you watch Alabama in the fourth quarter, and I'm not saying Eric Musselman's the basketball version of Nick Saban, I'm not. But when you watch Alabama in the fourth quarter, when they're at LSU or they're at Florida or whatever, you just see a confidence in them. Like, we have been trained and we have been built for this moment. And that was the sense that I got being around Nevada every time that I was around them. Now, I can't say everything that happens behind closed doors, why it is the way that it is, but I'm just telling you, there is a confidence with his teams, at least there was the last 2 years at Nevada, where it's like, we have worked harder than you, we have trained better, we have prepared longer, and we are going to be ready for this moment. It's not going to happen overnight, but I do think that exactly what you said, Ty, mental toughness, physical toughness, is going to be a trademark of this program as long as Eric Musselman's there.
Aaron, we got a couple of minutes left here, so let's talk about the crop of coaches now in the SEC. And Ty and I have been getting into the conversation of maybe the SEC has the best collection of basketball coaches in the country. You could make a case for the ACC. They've got, maybe a couple more legends, if you want to use that term.
You could make it, yeah. It's a bad case, you could make it.
Okay, so then tell me, does the SEC have the best set of coaches now in college basketball as a league?
I could make a case that the sky is orange and that grass is purple. It would be a terrible case, but I could make it. My whole thing, guys, and I've argued with this, and ACC fans got mad at me, and whatever. People are mad at me all the time. It's what I guess I'm good at what I do. Look, with the ACC, they have 2, 3, 4 iconic coaches in that conference. They also have 3 or 4 guys that are really bad. Like Josh Pastner is really bad at Georgia Tech. Danny Manning has never won an NCAA tournament game at Wake Forest. Jim Christian at Boston College is kind of underrated. He hasn't done anything. So with the SEC, one, I think outside of Jerry Stackhouse, who's never proven anything at the college level, but I will say I kind of know who Jerry Stackhouse is targeting to have on his coaching staff, and I think he has the right approach. I don't know if it'll work. But outside of Jerry Stackhouse, first of all, there are no coaches that are just total duds. Now, the SEC doesn't have the icons that the ACC has, but with the ACC, you got to keep in mind, a lot of their best coaches are like 68, 69, 70, 71 years old, and how much longer is Syracuse going to have Jim Boeheim? How much longer is Coach K going to be at Duke? And so I look at the SEC, and it's not just that you have good coaches. 11 out of the 14, by the way, have coached a team to the Sweet 16 or beyond. So the numbers back it up. But beyond that, a lot of these guys are pretty young. I mean, Buzz Williams, in theory, could be at Texas A&M for another 15 years if he wants to be. John Calipari is just turning 60. He can be at Kentucky for 10 years, another 10 years. Eric Musselman's in his early 50s. He can be at Arkansas for 10 years. And so that's the thing about this league that stands out is you have great coaches across the board. And they're relatively young. Like Mike White could literally be at Florida for another 30 years if he wants to be. Will Wade, who's I think literally meeting with LSU and the NCAA right now, like if he can survive this, like that guy can be at LSU for another 20 years. And so that's the thing that stands out to me, right? Is like, you know, just because a guy has done stuff in the past, like it doesn't mean that that's kind of who he is in the present, right? Like a baseball player that signs a 10-year contract, yeah, it's great in year 1 and year 2, but what about year 8 and 9 and 10? And so that's how I look at the ACC. Jim Boeheim is an icon, but he's out in the next 2 or 3 years, and he hasn't been that good recently anyway. And so to me, I don't even think it's actually a debate at this point. ACC fans would disagree, but I think the best coaches in college basketball reside in the SEC.
Aaron, as always, great stuff. Have a great whatever you have for a weekend setup, and we'll talk next Friday.
All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Aaron Torres, great podcaster, sports writer extraordinaire, and we'll come back, wrap up the first hour of halftime next on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime.
I'm gonna ride till I can't no more.
Back again at the all-new Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Sallisaw, Oklahoma. We were talking earlier about the people making the difference here at Sallisaw Ford. One place you'll notice it immediately is in the service department. A lot of new faces back there, a lot of new tools. It's a totally different service department here at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford.
Yeah, Tommy, one of the things we want to do is make sure that our customers could get their car serviced, get in and out in a timely fashion, have it fixed right the first time, and get them back on the road, because that's what's important. That's why you buy a newer, nicer car, is in order to be able to drive it.
What if someone's had difficulty here before with the service department? Should they be leery about coming back?
That's one of the things, probably the biggest change that we've made is we've went out, we've got the latest and greatest tools, we've upgraded the facility, and we went out and we hired 4 more technicians in order to enhance the experience for our customers in the service department.
All right, come see them at Sallisaw Ford, all-new service and parts department at the all-new Sallisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Sallisaw, Oklahoma. Spring is in the air, and spring fishing season is here. And Jelco Outdoors has the fishing gear you need to hook the big wall hanger this spring. Rods, reels, baits, tackle, fishing clothing, and rain suits, plus fishing kayaks. Jelco has it all for you. The best quality name brands at fair prices. Jelco Outdoors, your spring fishing headquarters in the River Valley. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741. At
Michelob Ultra, we know it's not just about how much you work out every day. It's about how much you work into every day, too. So we brew our beer for those who realize that expending calories should never come at the expense of spending time with friends. Those who understand that just because you work out doesn't mean you can't go out. And that's why we brew Michelob Ultra to have 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and a crisp, clean taste. Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who live fit, live fun, live Ultra. Enjoy responsibly. 2018 Michelob Ultra Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams of protein, and 0 grams fat for 12 ounces.
At Hardee's, we change deals forever. Deals used to be a way to get rid of the unpopular stuff. Well, Hardee's thinks deals should sell the best stuff for $2.49, which is why this Hardy value serves up a juicy charbroiled bacon double cheeseburger, our hot ham and cheese, or hand-breaded chicken in our Southern-style tender sandwich, each for only $2.49. One day, historians will look back on this Hardy value as a turning point for deal variety and quality. Historians like to make a big deal out of big deals. Hardee's, because it tastes better.
Offer available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating Hardee's restaurants. Price and participation may vary. Tax not included.
Looking to upgrade your fleet or needing professional service to your existing fleet? Carco International of Fort Smith offers the latest trucks and equipment in the industry. With over 70 years in the trucking and equipment business, they have the experience to keep you on the road. Carco International offers professional service after the sale. Carco International Parts Department supplies all makes, parts, and gives expert service. Carco International is the answer. Leave it to the pros to keep you on the road. Carco International, located at 2721 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith.
This next segment on Halftime is brought to you by the Kevin Hickey Law Firm, the #1 resource for your child advocacy needs.
All right, wrapping up the first hour of halftime here. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. Ty's back in Fort Smith. We got plenty coming up in our last hour of the week, leading into Arkansas Vanderbilt baseball. FOMO Friday. Our friend Max Hers. Maybe your phone calls if we can get to them. That's 877-377-6963 to get on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Back again at the all-new Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Sallisaw, Oklahoma. One of the first things you'll notice when you arrive, selection and over 200 vehicles in stock. Big pre-owned selection, including trucks and trucks that you can afford in a payment range that you're looking for. Scott, every day you have customers in here looking for a truck in a particular payment range. You have them here at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford.
Yeah, what we found out is people that want a truck usually need it for a reason, usually to work out of, or even if it's just what they're used to driving. But they also have a budget. We're going to match that budget while you're here. We're going to make sure you get in the truck that you want for what you can afford to pay.
And it's not just Ford. You've got GM products. You've got Toyotas. You've got Nissan. You've got all makes and all models of trucks.
Anything you want in one place.
It's all at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Sallisaw, Oklahoma. It's a short drive to save big at the all-new Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford.
Out here, you need to control your environment, or it may control you. You need the Kubota L2501DT compact tractor. It comes with all the easy-to-use implements you need. Get the L2501DT for as low as $139 a month with 0% APR financing for 84 months plus a 6-year warranty. Now through June 30th, 2019. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com.
Visit Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
With Michelin Pilot tires, you can do it all and look good doing it. Because ultra-precise steering and outstanding cornering power are bound to get noticed. And when you get a $70 reward card after submission with purchase of 4 new select Michelin tires from March 20th to April 18th, you'll look pretty smart too. Looks pretty great, doesn't it?
Get Michelin tires from Southern Tire Mart, 9700 Highway 271 South at I-540 in Fort Smith.
See MichelinMan.com/promo for details. Offer expires 4/18/2019. Void where prohibited.
Spring into savings in a new Buick Enclave or Encore from Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Save over $8,400 on a 2019 Buick Enclave, loaded with luxury, third-row seating, and all the extras. Only $38,999. Or the #1 selling Buick in the market, the 2019 Buick Encore. Just $299 a month, or only $18,999. Spring into savings in a Buick from Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
A decrease in the clouds, an overnight low expecting to drop down upper 30s north, mid 40s south. A cooler go over it Friday. Our high temperatures mid 60s north will be in the upper 60s to low 70s further south, and then a round of showers and thunderstorms moving through Saturday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
I hate everything you just said. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is halftime, coming at you from the Bush and Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
They're hilarious.
Good morning, Vietnam! Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
You
want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry. You know, anything travels that far, ought to have a damn stewardess on it, don't you think?
With Phil Elson.
Bill, I think you do a spectacular job.
And Tye Richardson.
Tye, I love the way you talk, buddy.
Pack your bags, load them up, gas the car, and raise that bright red flag to the skies. 423 miles away, the Emerald City awaits. The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Hey, hold on, it's almost halftime.
One more hour in the week, at least for us. You probably have another few hours left in your week if you're a Monday through Friday sort of a person. Appreciate you tuning in on what is a cloudy afternoon in Nashville, Tennessee. I don't know what it's like back in Arkansas time. What's it like out the window in Barling right now?
About 70-ish.
Nice.
Not too bad. So
it's nice. We got about an 80% chance of rain for the weekend here in Nashville. So
ugh.
I hope as we get into our usual FOMO Friday segment that I've got a little I'd like to have JOMO of no rain delays. I could take the rain out if as long as the game gets banged early. It's the rain delays that kind of mess everything up so much, or at least make sure you sit around the ballpark forever. It's pretty rare that you play 24 innings in one day, and very rare that even one game goes 15 innings. But it's not rare when you got to sit around after you start a ball game, and then the next thing you know, it rains a couple hours later, and you're sitting around. And that's what happened the last time I came to Vanderbilt, was just a lot of sitting around. I think we had like a 3-hour rain delay for one of those games. So I really would like to start FOMO Friday with a little baseball JOMO, and it's more hoping out of anything else. Usually we go into these segments, Tye, knowing the things that we are going to miss out on and the things that we are excited to miss out on. I'm more than anything just hoping that this request gets out to the baseball weather gods somehow, because I'd like to have JOMO of rain delays. I don't think there's anything I can do about it raining in Nashville at some point this weekend, but I could do without the rain delays, because that'll mess up your pitching. It makes you sit around the ballpark a lot longer than you really need to. And, I mean, there's an 8 o'clock game tomorrow. If you get a rain delay during an 8 o'clock game, you're not going to get out of the ballpark until 1 in the morning and then play at 1 o'clock the next day. So I would like to have, more than anything, this is a request. Let me put my hands together to get down on my knees. If I need any, baseball rosary beads or
baseball
to fill
what?
in,
What doohickey?
There isn't a thing like that. It was just if you had some sort of, sacraments that could help get your message up to the baseball gods, a tallis like I would wear if I'm in synagogue, or the rosary beads that you'd count on, in the church pews or in your home. I don't know what I would do. If I maybe take apart a baseball, because I think that a baseball has the same amount of stitches as beads on a rosary. So maybe if I just take a baseball apart and put the stitches in a pile, set them on fire, and have a little offering to the baseball weather gods, pretty please, with sugar and a cherry on top, and an ice cold Bud Light too. Please, pretty please, can we please have some JOMO on rain delays for this weekend with Arkansas and Vanderbilt? I'm begging you. I'm praying to you. I'm giving you an offering of real baseball stitches. So pretty please help me out.
Speaking of cold ones, have you had a Natter Day yet? I haven't asked you about that in a couple of weeks.
Oh, I didn't. I got a text from your buddy with you drinking your Natter Day at Jeff's. Yeah, that was a sight of complete and total happiness. You looked like you were in your own element, and it almost looked, I don't know, did you realize that he was going to be taking a picture of you? Because I think you almost posed.
Oh, here's what happened. He goes, let me take a picture of you drinking that and send it to Phil, because obviously he wants you to get up here after baseball season and us consume a few of those. And the sun was glaring in my eyes. So just a word to the audience. This was an afternoon, and that was the only one I drank the whole time. That's like the second time since I started working here that I've drank beer during the week, because I just hate doing that. I don't like drinking during the week, and because I got to wake up so early. And so it looked like the first couple of pictures that he took me, I looked hammered, even though that was the only drink I had. And
I didn't think you looked drunk. You didn't look hammered.
I had to
you looked like you were modeling, like you were posing, like you were a model for a Natter Day ad that's going to be splattered all over bars across the country. You looked to me like you thought that you were a model for Natter Day.
But I had to open my eyes, and he had to take several of these pictures, and he would show him. It's like, no, that looks bad. That looks bad. But
this is a photography. This is a modeling session you just went through. You just didn't realize it.
I guess
you've been turned into a natural light model, Tye. So
I guess
you can quit this whole radio thing. You can talk about having maybe a face made for radio and a voice made for radio too, but apparently you got a face made for Natter Day poster ads.
I'm hoping to do some TV spots eventually someday off in the not too distant future. We'll see. All right, my first FOMO fill is Moses Moody, Jalen Williams, Chris Moore. We actually might get a chance to talk to Jalen next week. He's Fort Smith Northside player. Just got his scholarship reaffirmed by Eric Musselman and the Arkansas coaching staff. They're playing tonight. The Beal Elite is taking on the Woods Elite in this game tonight. It's at 7:45 at FHS.
So is this AAU basketball?
AAU basketball up in Northwest Arkansas. Moody's number 36 on 24/7's list. Moore's at 138. I don't remember where Williams is at, but they are going to be competing tonight. And this can be a really fun matchup because Moody, formerly of North Little Rock, now at the prestigious, as Kevin McPherson likes to call it, Monteverde Academy. And then you have...
Where is that academy located?
In Florida.
So what's he doing back here now?
Well, he's from Arkansas, and this is like a big AAU tournament, like the warm-ups. There's a lot of prestigious kids. The rumor is LeBron James, and I haven't confirmed this. LeBron James' kid might be playing in it. And Nick was joking about how he saw LeBron James at the airport. I don't know if that was a joke. I don't know if that was actually true.
Well, if LeBron's kid is playing in it, what's LeBron going to be doing? He doesn't have much games to worry about right now, does he?
He's not in the playoffs, man, so he could come watch.
Hey, come hang out in the Rock, LeBron.
That'd be really cool. Maybe get a halftime portable interview. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how we'll see how quick I get turned down. But hey, I work for ESPN Arkansas. You got 5 minutes? Get out of my face. All right, thanks, LeBron. So yeah, that's the game I really want to see tonight. Unfortunately, I have to work tomorrow morning, so I'm not going to be able to go. We're doing some stuff. So, but yeah, I got a little FOMO that I'm missing that game on tonight.
Tell me about Moses Moody as a player. I've only read a little bit about him, and I know he's had the scholarship offer reaffirmed to Arkansas. Tell me about Moody as a player. You think he'd fit into what Coach Muss wants to do?
You know what? I don't know. That's a good question. I think the better person to ask would be a Kevin or a Nick. I've seen a couple of his highlights. Kid can play. And it just, I don't know about his attitude. I don't know about his work ethic. I'm not close enough to him to give a accurate description of if he would be able to be fit at Arkansas. It depends. Certain coaches, they just see talent. If they can get it in here and work, that's fine. We'll see if Eric Musselman can do that with whether it's grad transfers, incoming freshmen. He seems to be like the guy that he can recruit talent and produce it. And he always says that he can get the most out of you if you come within the program. So it seems like that could be an opportunity there. Now, a lot of people are saying that he's down in Florida. It's going to be virtually near impossible, with especially a couple blue bloods keying in on this kid. Arkansas at one point in time might have had a much better chance, but it's just not the same program anymore. But, yeah, I'm curious. You get to see him in FHS tonight. If you're in the Northwest Arkansas area tonight or you're close, you want to go make the trip, I'd encourage you to do so because these could be some future Razorbacks that you get to see at the high school level.
So I've had FOMO on my next entry ever since I moved to Arkansas, and it's because I worked for the Travelers for so many years, and the start of minor league baseball season is always the start of April, and now college baseball season takes place from February through June, and I've never been to the Arkansas Derby, and I don't know if I'll ever make it. I've been to Oaklawn. Oaklawn's a lot of fun.
Right smack dab in the middle of baseball season.
Right smack dab. I don't think I'll ever make it to the Arkansas Derby. Now, I guess there's a way that it could happen if we're playing in a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series in Fayetteville, then theoretically I could make it to the Derby the next day on Sunday. So maybe, just maybe, I'd be able to make it. But in minor league baseball, you play every Sunday. You don't have Sundays off, so that just wasn't ever going to happen. But, obviously I'm in Nashville, and I won't make it back for the Arkansas Derby. So I don't know. It seems that to me, we talk about Arkansas doesn't have major league teams. You kind of have an entry into essentially what's major league horse racing at Oaklawn, because that's not one of the Triple Crown races, but it gets you there. If you win that Derby, then you get to the Triple Crown. So I've always felt like Oaklawn is closer to whatever you would describe major league horse racing as. I know that there isn't a thing that's major league horse racing, but I just feel like Oaklawn is the closest to the real big time of professional sports than anything else that we have in the state of Arkansas. You've got the two AA teams, the Naturals and the Travelers. They're still 2 steps away from the major leagues, and it's not about winning at those levels, and we've gotten into that before. So I think Oaklawn probably is closer to whatever major league horse racing would be. And the top of the pyramid at Oaklawn is the Arkansas Derby. I mean, it's a $1 million purse, for crying out loud. And because I forget that Hollywood Park, the horse track in Los Angeles, closed down, Bob Baffert's got many of his best horses now at Oaklawn, so they've had to split the Rebel Stakes, which is the race that I think happens tomorrow, into 2 races and then pare it down together. And it seems like the Racing Festival of the South and the Arkansas Derby, these are just things that would, for me, be destination events as an Arkansan who comes from outside the state and enjoys sports. And I'm not a big horse racing guy at all, not at all. But I've always enjoyed going to Oaklawn. Bringing $50 with me and saying I'm spending this on gambling and just that, and drinking a little and having some corned beef and enjoying the people watching. I think that's one of the really unique things to experience in Arkansas, and I would just love to make it to the Derby sometime, but I can't make it this weekend, so I got a little FOMO about it.
And it seems like with Oaklawn, Phil, that there's not only Arkansans that make the weekly trips and the weekend trips every so often, but it's like out-of-state folk as well. People come from all over, and I know this event draws in a crowd, as you're referring to, which is kind of like a cool aspect, because you don't think of Arkansas, for the most part, as a destination state, or very, very few destination parts of the state. But I think Oaklawn and Hot Springs, that people like going there. Like, I've talked to people out of state. They're like, have you ever been to Oaklawn? I was like, you been to Oaklawn? And they're like, yeah, we really enjoyed it. So that's kind of a cool thought, just a cool thing that some people enjoy that part, because for so many years, I'm 24 years old, I haven't heard many people outside of the state say, oh, I love going to Arkansas and doing this or love that, but I feel like Oaklawn kind of holds up well in that.
I know one of our signals is also, a Hot Springs signal, 96.3. I get envious whenever Tommy and John go down there to do the morning rush at Oaklawn.
Need to get us down there.
Hey, look, I'm in Nashville, so, I'm doing just fine as far as on-location broadcasting. But I think it'd be kind of cool to go down there and maybe set up on the infield and do a show from Oaklawn. That'd be cool. As long as we got some corned beef. That was the other thing about Oaklawn that just sort of that came out of completely out of left field. I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood with real Jewish delis. We know our corned beef. We do. We know our corned beef. And the best corned beef in the state of Arkansas, which I don't know if that's really saying anything, but the best corned beef in the state of Arkansas, the best Reuben sandwich in the state is at Oaklawn, at the horse track. And I don't know. I never thought you would put those two things together, but there it is.
It works, man. And what are they're 50 cents opening weekend? Is that how they do it? I think.
Yeah, those are probably small sandwiches, kind of like the corners of the finger sandwiches, they would call it. It's like the $1 hot dog night at baseball games. Those aren't the same size hot dogs that you're buying when it's, a $3.50 hot dog. But hey, $1 for a bite, it's okay. We can handle that.
Or when I think it was the Naturals that sell they have the $1 beer, $2 beer nights. It's like Miller High Life.
Yeah, in a shot glass.
Yeah, in a shot glass. All right, my second one, you mentioned you're in Nashville. Man, I got FOMO this weekend. I got buddies texting me. They got tickets to the game all this weekend, this series. I got a buddy that's going to be repping a Blaine Knight jersey this weekend. I actually have an old flame that's coming up to Nashville this weekend. So there's a lot of factors.
A flame?
Yeah, an old flame.
There's a flame? Whoa, hold on a second here. We've never – I always talk about my lovely lady and my love life here. And we've never brought anything up about yours. This is a first. This is like 7 months into the show, Ty. I feel like I've missed something.
There's not much to go into because there's not a lot of background or not a lot of instances in that occasion. But I do have one of those that are coming up this weekend. So
a former flame. Is she coming out to the game? Can I leave her tickets?
I wouldn't be surprised. No, she's not getting there till late. I don't think baseball is on her itinerary. I think I don't know how much she enjoys. She's more of a basketball person. So yeah, I got a little FOMO here in Nashville. If you don't get Cookout this weekend, I'm not doing the show with you on Monday.
It's over then, right?
Just going to put that. I bet Max will, when we have him on in about 20 or so minutes, he'll encourage that you guys go to Cookout after one of the shows.
I think John Thomas went to Cookout yesterday. He's the baseball SID, and usually John and I would go out the night that we get into town. But I was driving from Little Rock with the lovely lady, and I wasn't dragging her to Cookout at 10 o'clock in the evening, especially when we had stuffed our faces at Casey Jones' Southern Buffet a couple hours before that.
Yeah.
So, and she's not really into the fast food thing, but I've let it be known. It's like, look, I feel like I have to do this.
So you lied to me last time. You said you were going to go last time, and you didn't go. So
it wasn't a lie. It was more of we just never made it there. So maybe we'll just find a way to mosey on over to Cookout because it's right down the street from the hotel. They're open late, right?
Yeah, they're open till and the crowd. It's gonna be funny. So you said the game. What time's the game today? Is it
7 o'clock
7
tonight?
o'clock? Okay.
8 o'clock tomorrow.
I would not recommend going after the game tomorrow because I'm assuming based on time, how long a baseball game takes, based on your post game show, you probably won't get back till about 1 or 2 to the hotel. Around there, yeah, the crowd that's going to be in that, it's just going to be a bunch of Vandy and Belmont students. I would not recommend going then.
I would just tell you that at Vanderbilt right now, you actually, this is one of the things about big cities like this. You know those bars on wheels that people actually...
Pedal taverns, yeah.
What are they called?
Pedal
taverns. You're right. Bars on wheels that people move with their feet. That's how I was going to describe it. Like they're all riding a bicycle and drinking at the same time with one person up front, the real designated driver who's paid to be there. They're doing this stuff. These pedal taverns are going around campus at 10 in the morning.
Yeah, it's wild, dude.
It's crazy. I almost thought, wait a minute, is that a college credit class that someone's taking right now on these pedal taverns?
I had a buddy that was talking to me the other day. He was like, I don't know how you lived in Nashville for a year. I can't go back to that place for another year because of how much he drank. Like it was just unbelievable. And it's not just people my age. It's incredible how like much adults get inebriated. Like any sort of age group that goes there, of course, the legal age, starting there and above. They feel it's like an obligation as soon as they enter the city limits of Nashville, Tennessee. They have to get plastered immediately because there's no parameters on when you start drinking. They just it's wild, man. It's absolutely wild. By the way, do you have a bar place that you and the lovely lady are going to go tonight?
I haven't picked anything out.
Okay.
It's all predicated on how long this game is tonight.
Okay, if you guys get a chance to go out tonight or tomorrow based on the rain, go to a place, and this will be not tailored towards my crowd. It'll be tailored more towards your crowd. Go to a place with live music like a Tootsie's, or you won't like FGL. Probably, I would say Tootsie's or one of the honky tonks.
I've been to Tootsie's. That's downtown on Broadway,
correct,
right? I've been there with Mike Neighbors. That is a Mike Neighbors joint.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
Well, then,
been there twice with him.
And I guess you're actually closer to Midtown. So go to Winners and Losers. Those are really cool bars. Yeah, I'd say you're close to Midtown if you really don't want to go downtown. I'd check out Winners and Losers and Red Door Saloon.
You know, I think our listeners, and you just told them a few minutes ago that you got FOMO on not being in Nashville. They could just tell by the sound in your voice and the excitedness that you hear right now. That's called audible FOMO without even really using the term. We can hear it in your voice, Ty. Yeah. I'll play the world's smallest violin for you while I'm enjoying myself here in Nashville.
Just don't send me a bunch of selfies, then I'll get really ticked off.
Oh, you know it's coming later on. All right, I'm doing 2 Jomos and 1 FOMO today. My other Jomo is that I'm not Chris Davis, who I talked about him earlier in the week. He is still without a base hit. He went 0 for 3 on Thursday in the Orioles' 8-5 loss to the Oakland Athletics. So that's now 61 consecutive plate appearances without a base hit, a major league record. And you've got to feel horrendous for this guy. And really, I don't care that he's still signed for 4 years and making $23 million a year. Human beings, no matter how much money they make, still have to be embarrassed when they are almost routinely forced to go out there and play a game that right now they should not be playing. Chris Davis is not any longer a Major League Baseball player. He might even, just the way that he's struggling in the big leagues, struggle at AAA because he is striking out nearly half of these 61 plate appearances. It's a guy that had over 50 home runs in a Major League season. So he has ability, but that ability obviously is gone. And the Orioles are on the hook for, I think, around $75 to $80 million. And if you would imagine getting in somebody's head that is suffering through that sort of you could call it a slump, but that's just total, utter failure in every way. It would like you and me, Ty, starting the radio show with silence, with like 30 minutes of silence, and that would be the radio show. There would be literally nothing going on. This is a guy that is paid to hit a baseball. He does not even hit the baseball enough for it to get a lucky base hit. I feel bad for the guy. And I just have Jomo that I've never felt that embarrassed that he probably feels. But then again, I've never made $23 million a year, so I should have some FOMO on that.
There's always a counter argument in the fact that he's having that streak, unfortunately, but yeah, he's still making a pretty penny. All right, my last one, Phil. I've never been to the Masters. Don't know ever if I'll get to go to Augusta National. Tommy's been. My old roommate, who's actually cousins with Austin Cook, the former Arkansas golfer, has been up there. He said it was fantastic. He actually gave me a couple cups from last year. Beers are only $3. Sandwiches are only $3. Tommy was mentioning it this morning, how everything is so cheap. I think they've kept the same prices since like somewhere in 1980 something, which is just incredible to think about, because if you think of all the other famous sporting events that you could go to, whether it's a Super Bowl, NCAA basketball championship, whatever it may be, the prices on food and everything is hiked way up. So that's kind of cool that they've kept the prestige around the tournament while also keeping the prices low. And man, Tiger's got a chance. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the stat. I know you and I are neither golfers, but 3 out of the 4 times he's won the Masters had a first opening round of 70. Guess what his round was yesterday? 70.
Was it 70?
It was. Tom Rinaldi asked him, "Is like, you know what you started when you won 3 out of 4?" He's like, "Yeah, I know," and he just kind of left it at that. So I'm curious. Obviously, he brings so much more attention to the sport when he's doing well and ultimately winning majors. I think it'd be great for golf if he won this Masters.
I think I've got some FOMO about an event going on at National Park College. You can tell our listeners about that.
Yeah, Nolan Richardson, the Hall of Famer, is actually going to be speaking April 30th at 6 p.m. in National Park Gym. Tickets are only a mere $40 to see the only true national championship coach in basketball. This includes dinner. Tickets can be purchased online at mp.edu/athletics. Proceeds from the event are going right back to Nighthawk Athletics. It's going to be a great night. Again, get a chance to see Nolan Richardson speak at the National Park College. It's an incredible event, and again, it's going on April 30th at 6 p.m., Phil.
Ty, the lovely lady, is listening, and she would go to Cookout if they have good chili cheese fries. Are we good or are we bad?
You're good, man. They have good chili cheese fries. They might taste a little better at 2 a.m. than they do at like 6 o'clock, but I think she'll make do, and I think she'll like them.
Dunzo, deal, done, excited about it. Cookout later on, tonight, tomorrow, maybe both days. We'll come back with more Halftime next. This is ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime.
April is underway, but it's not too late to lock in your price for 2 long years when you call WOW now. 877-305-DISH and make the move to Dish.
A guaranteed 2-year price guarantee. Get Dish service for less than $60 a month. That's $59.99 a month for one TV. That includes your DVR service in one room. But here's the kicker. It's 2 years guaranteed. That means you don't have to worry about your bill going up for the full length of your agreement. But you got to call World of Wireless, your local Dish dealer, to get all the details at 877-305-DISH.
And only Dish has the voice-activated remotes.
Free in every room right now. If you call World of Wireless, you offer 1 TV, 2 TVs, 3 TVs, 4 TVs. However many you get installed, we're going to give you a free voice remote in every single room.
And that saves you $25 a room right there.
That's right. It's a savings you cannot beat, along with some free movie channels for 3 months right now. Again, call your local Dish dealer. It's a toll-free number, but we're local, 877-305-DISH.
All right, call WOW now or stop into the corner of Phoenix and Rogers in Fort Smith, or 877-305-DISH.
Auto Park in Fort Smith combines over 90 years of family-owned experience with the best sales and service teams around. And at Orr Auto Park, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime engine warranty, free maintenance for 2 years, and free car washes for the life of the vehicle. The largest selection, the biggest discounts, and the best buying experience around. These are some of the reasons why you always score more with Orr Auto Park in Fort Smith. Stop in today, or they are always open online 24/7 at OrAutoPark.com.
Perfecting your climbing, one hole at a time. B&J Heating and Air. When you need us most, we'll be there. We'll get it right the first time. Give you quality air. For the very best service, you can count on us. B&J is the name you trust.
When you need us most, we will be there. Call 479-646-0284 or go online at bjheatingair.com.
Looking to find a team that gives you more than just a place to be a stylist? Supercuts team members take pride in maintaining a positive, professional, and creative workplace. Supercuts team members provide the highest quality for guests by attending training courses at our Hairstylist Academy. Supercuts has been the highest base paid in the market, including time off, commission-based performance pay, great tips, company-sponsored health insurance, and much more. Simply apply online at supercuts.com or contact Joe at 520-203-4316.
At Michelob Ultra, we know it's not just about how much you work out every day. It's about how much you work into every day, too. So we brew our beer for those who realize that expending calories should never come at the expense of spending time with friends. Those who understand that just because you work out doesn't mean you can't go out. And that's why we brew Michelob Ultra to have 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and a crisp, clean taste. Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who live fit, live fun, live ultra. Enjoy responsibly. 2018 Michelob Ultra Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams of protein, and 0 grams fat for 12 ounces.
True Grit Running Company
Company is where perseverance meets passion. Whether you're training for your next marathon or just comfortable shoes to keep up with your kids, we have the gear to help you reach your goals. With our slow motion gait analysis and our extensive product knowledge, we have the right pair of shoes for you. We also carry apparel, nutrition, hydration accessories, injury prevention gear, and recovery products. We offer classes, workshops, and group runs. Lace up, show up, and get your grit on. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
This is the Morning Rush.
Listen, we've all worked in places, been in organizations where you've had bosses and people you've worked with that believed in you and supported you, and ones that did and ones that didn't. It's always easier to work in an environment where you work with people that support you versus people that don't. People that believe in you versus people that don't.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Orr Auto Park. Score more with Orr. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
10 to play. Jalen Harris gets inside, lays it up. High off the glass. He makes it with 5.9 to play. And now Kermit Davis and Ole Miss will take a timeout.
Back inside here at Hawkins Field, I'm Phil Elson and Tye Richardson back in Fort Smith. Halftime continues on a Friday. I was about to say a Tuesday. Goodness, what day is it? I'm watching Vanderbilt's players out here taking some singular BP and getting things ready for the upcoming baseball game. 7 o'clock tonight, airtime 6:30. You can get it right here on ESPN Arkansas. Oh, by the way, Tye showed me a really cool trick earlier before the show got going. How do you do this thing with Siri? You don't even need to use your fingers to pick up our broadcast at hitthatline.com. How do you do this?
Yeah, you voice to Siri. I think if you have to have the new iPhone, otherwise you got to double click on your home page and you go, "Hey Siri," and then she answers, and you hear the dot, and it's popping up on my iPhone now. And then you say, "Play hitthatline.com audio."
And Siri doesn't say, "Are you serious? Don't you realize that show sucks?" And Siri doesn't say that?
She just goes right into playing it. The latest episode of either Halftime or the Bud Light Morning Rush podcast. So goes right into it. It's awesome. So you can, I think, we're going to see if it works in the car, but obviously on your iPhone, most of us listening, some of us don't, but a lot of the listeners that we have right now of the program have iPhones. So you just say, "Hey Siri, play hitthatline.com audio," and then it goes right into it.
So I think maybe it works with Alexa. Hey, could you ask Siri, play me all of the interviews that Eric Musselman has done since he's been hired as the Arkansas basketball coach? That might be a little too long of a request for Siri.
Man, you think about it. I mean, he's gone through a lot, whether it's press conferences with the U of A media, whether it's the Hog Pod with Bo, whether it's the national guys, Feinbaum, Gottlieb, Rome, SEC this morning. He's been across the board, and that's got to be good for recruiting, because if you see a guy new is supposed to be known for being able to good recruit, all that does is stretches his audience to college or to potential college recruits that he could pull in from grad transfers. Also, these high school kids that are watching ESPN, they're listening to these sports radio shows, that just helps him grow his brand in the Arkansas basketball brand as well.
Right, no, he must have some sort of a connection with Rome as West Coast basketball guys. That seems to make sense. And if you're going to be a new hire at any of the three major sports in the SEC, you're going on Paul Feinbaum. I mean, that's almost like written into the contract, and the Coward thing makes sense too. And this is someone who's not afraid to get out there and be personable to all the media types, because it doesn't just grow his brand, it grows Arkansas's brand.
And I'll say this, and this is kind of early on, and it doesn't matter as long as you win football games, and I don't think Arkansas fans really care. Chad Morris is not the best of interviews. He doesn't give a lot of insight, which is fine. Some people are more guarded. Some people are more. It seems like Musselman's a lot more willing to open up about certain things. Now, we'll see if that continues. This is, again, his first week on the job, so we'll see if that continues to be that way. But it seems like, based on the interviews I've heard from him and Chad Morris, he might be the better interviewer than Chad Morris.
I think it's funny. Chad Morris is really good on a stage setting, in like in a setting where he gets to take things where he wants to take them. I think Musselman is good in both areas. I still think the best interview on campus is Dave Van Horn. And I say that as someone who's interviewed Dave more than probably anybody else, with the exception of some of the sports writers. But it's because
over Neighbors, though, I've really enjoyed interviewing Mike, man.
And I was just separating from the three. And,
Okay.
you can't sit there talking music and movies and TV shows, with Dave Van Horn. I don't know what his favorite bands are. I don't know what his favorite movies are. I definitely get a sense of some of that pop culture stuff from Mike. That's why I've always thought Mike would be a really good talk show host if the basketball thing doesn't work out, which I think it's working out just
Hope
fine.
he doesn't gun for my job. Jeez.
But and Mike is also he's highly honest about the team that he is coaching when you're interviewing him about that. So, and that's what I think that's what you want. That's what you get from Dave. Dave is honest. He's open. And he'll tell you things that you didn't even really expect to get because he just sort of keeps talking. And if he trusts you, then he'll give you really interesting nuggets of information that maybe you didn't even expect to get. Anyway, so I mean I need to open it up to the four major sports if I was looking at it that way, because I think Mike Neighbors probably be at the top of the list. Then he's just too much fun to go out of Nashville with and then have a basketball game the next day, and everything is just fine. Hey, before we go to Max Hers, who is here in the booth right now, I want to talk to anybody who's facing divorce or child custody issues, criminal matters, maybe involving DHS with your kids. Get an experienced, aggressive attorney in your corner. That's Kevin Hickey Law Partners. They'll represent you throughout the entire process. They've dealt with all of it: angry spouses, false accusations, ugly custody battles. DHS not giving you the entire story of what's up with your kids. You name it, they've seen it. So if you're facing anything like this, Kevin Hickey Law Partners will help you with experienced, caring individuals that will step in and aggressively represent your interests. You can call Kevin Hickey Law in the River Valley, 479-434-2414, or in Northwest Arkansas, the number is 479-802-6560. You can also go to kevinhickeylaw.com. They've started some dance music here at Hawkins Field so the guys can take some batting practice. So I'm about to tango with our friend Max Hers as halftime continues on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime.
In Fort Smith combines over 90 years of family-owned experience with the best sales and service teams around. And at Orr Auto Park, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime engine warranty, free maintenance for 2 years, and free car washes for the life of the vehicle. The largest selection, the biggest discounts, and the best buying experience around. These are some of the reasons why you always score more with Orr Auto Park in Fort Smith. Stop in today, or they are always open online 24/7 at OrAutoPark.com.
Guys, are you tired of all the hassles with your CPAP machine? Putting on the mask every night, cleaning or replacing hoses and filters? Tired of taking it on trips and wondering where you're going to plug it in? And don't forget the distilled water. You need a solution. River Valley Sleep Solutions. Replace your CPAP with an innovative custom-fitted mouthguard. Medical insurance is accepted, and financing options are available. Find out more at rivervalleysleep.com. That's rivervalleysleep.com. Hey, I don't know about you, but this spring weather already has me ready for summer weather. Hi, Tommy Kraft here for my good friends at Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Springdale. If you are itching for some backyard fun in your own pool this spring and summer, it's not too late. Call Burton Pools and Spas and let them help you design the backyard of your dreams and still enjoy a full swimming season this summer. Kick off spring with big savings on Doughboy above-ground swimming pools. Save $500 on your purchase of a Doughboy above-ground pool that includes everything you need. Pool, liner, pump, and filter, everything. Start relaxing in your own backyard with Burton's. And if you already have your own pool and you're ready to start swimming this season, Burton's has all the chemical supplies and advice you need to make your pool water crystal clear. And through the month of April, all chemical supplies are 10% off. Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Springdale, or online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
Hot dog! Spring is finally here and not a moment too soon. Hi folks, Larry Rath here with a better way to drive at Rath Auto Resources. No spring training here. Our all-star team is ready to help you hit a home run with savings up to $3,200 below retail. And the bases are loaded with the freshest inventory in the fort. Cars, trucks, SUVs, all the most popular makes and models right here in one spot. To make this team, these These vehicles have to be Rath Road ready. That means they're hand-picked, then inspected and reconditioned in our own Meineke Car Care Center, so you know you're getting the very best pre-owned vehicle you can buy. If you're keeping the car you have, turn the double play in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and up to $200 savings on a set of Cooper tires. Don't commit an error on your next used car purchase. Knock it out of the park with up to $3,200 below retail at Arkansas's #1 rated and reviewed independent dealer and proud sponsor of the Northwest Arkansas Naturals, Rath Auto Resources, and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price affects trade allowance.
This next segment on Halftime is brought to you by the Kevin Hickey Law Firm, the #1 resource for your child advocacy needs. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
5.9 to play. Olanichek. That's not who you want to hold it. Over, turns it over. Osaboyan dribbles it out. Arkansas wins.
Well, we got an Arkansas-Vanderbilt baseball series starting tonight. We're going to talk about that right here in our Supercuts Baseball Spotlight with someone that probably knows Tye a lot better than I even know Tye, even after these 7 months. It is Max Hers, who is does radio here in Nashville, did some play-by-play for the Vanderbilt baseball team, and he knows this team in and out. So, Max, good to have you on today. What's up?
Great to be here with my two favorite Arkansans out there.
Absolutely. Before we get into it, though, Tye, our Supercuts Baseball Spotlight brought to us by our friends at Supercuts.
Time for Baseball Spotlight brought to you by Supercuts. Conveniently serving your community 7 days a week. Clean, sharp, ready.
This guy's a first ball fastball hitter. He's looking for heat.
Oh, yeah? So what? He ain't seen my heat.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
So this is going to be a great series. I mean, I anticipate it being a great series because maybe more than you get two teams right now that are that Vanderbilt comes after losing 2 out of 3 against Georgia on the road. I still think winning 1 at Georgia is a pretty big deal. Their bats were cooled down in that series, but Vanderbilt's got one of the best lineups in the SEC. Arkansas, the same thing, and I just get the sense you could see an offensively minded series here.
Yeah, I think so too. And Vandy has hit unbelievably well in their 2 home SEC series, especially against right-handed pitching. I mean, they didn't face a lefty starter in either of those 2 home SEC series. They swept Florida here, absolutely dominated them, then took 2 out of 3 from Tennessee. Had a chance at the sweep in that one too, but lost a 1-run game on Sunday. But they've hit unbelievably well at home throughout the entire season. They just haven't played a lot on the road. I mean, they're 4-5 outside of Nashville. That's it. And 3 of those are neutral games, so they were a bit of an anomaly last week. I don't know exactly what you could pinpoint it to. I don't think it was really trying too much. I don't think it was regression to the mean. I don't think it was truly any one thing. But, I mean, what did they end up with? 12 hits in the weekend? Something like that? 13.
Is this a young team? Because there are 4 players on this team that were freshman All-Americans last year. So is there a little bit of a youthful feel to this year's Vanderbilt club?
I would say no. I would say this is actually perhaps their oldest feeling team ever. They did not start a freshman position player in a game until this Tuesday.
Wow.
Which is unbelievable. They had a couple pinch hit to become the DH, which they like to do, but those aren't technically starts. This was their first opening day lineup without a freshman since 2013. And, of course, they get the 4 four-year starter seniors back, which is a big part of it. Ethan Paul, Steven Scott, Julian Infante have all been everyday players. But they have leadership. They haven't needed the freshmen. They have good freshmen, and you'll see Kumar Rocker starting and maybe another freshman pitcher or 2 over the course of the weekend. But this is as much experience as you'll see out of this program, which, just like Arkansas, loses the majority of their contributing juniors every year to the pro ranks.
Talking with Max Hers, who does sidelines for the SC Network for Vanderbilt Baseball. Max, one of the questions I have is you've taken me inside this stadium, and I've taken you inside Baum Stadium. There's a lot of differences, obviously, with Baum holding much more capacity than the Hawk, as you guys refer to it. What are some of the cool aspects that the Hawk provides to fans down there at Vanderbilt?
It's super intimate. You are never going to be more than 14 rows away from the game. I
guess 10 yesterday when we were talking about it.
Phil gets in here, I'm sure, and starts thinking of minor league parks that he's seen that this reminds him of, but it's still on the smaller side, even compared to A-ball and especially double-A ball, things like that. But it's a very professional field in the sense that mistakes here will hurt you. Misplays here will hurt you with the Green Monster out in left. Very little foul territory. So there aren't a lot of pop-outs and foul ground, which I've always liked. It's an all-turf surface, so for the most part, the hops will be true. Vanderbilt uses the turf to their advantage, especially the infielders who know how to play it really well. And the thing that isn't really publicly visible is the facility, which was completed at the beginning of this academic year behind the big left field wall where all the coaches' offices are, the big batting cage areas. They actually took space from basketball to help make that happen, and that was a $12 million project, and it's a truly unbelievable space. And despite the fact that Vanderbilt at large has fewer resources than the other SEC schools, they've got a facility that equals or passes, and either way is more unique in providing what Vanderbilt needs than what you would see at the other SEC schools.
Think about that for a minute here, Ty. He just said they took space away from basketball in order to give it to baseball. I don't think there's another place in the SEC where you would hear those words. And part of that's about there's just a lack of land that's available for that sort of thing at Vanderbilt. But then again, I mean, this is the most consistently winning program on campus.
Yeah, without a doubt. And there was a lot of, Memorial Gym built in 1952 is, in some areas of the building, as much a bomb shelter as it is a basketball arena. And it's an awesome space, and I love it, and it's beloved here. But some of the space that they covered was just kind of sitting around. There was an old public pool that was in there that they covered with the batting cages. They put a picture of it on Twitter when they were saying, one last look at the old Memorial Gym pool, and people were responding, I learned how to swim there in 1965. And it was just like, this doesn't need to be in our basketball arena. And like you said, Phil, space is at such a premium here with all three major sport venues literally touching out in left field. They took what they needed, and they got what they needed.
All right, so we brought up basketball, so I want to touch on this before we talk more baseball. Jerry Stackhouse, an interesting hire. Yeah. I know that your athletic director, whose name is escaping me at the time, what's his name, Max?
Malcolm Turner.
Malcolm Turner. He formerly president of the G League. That's the connection there. Is that a fit? Do you think that can work?
Yeah, I think it can definitely work, and I am very much on record saying I'm a fan of the Malcolm Turner hire. I didn't think Vanderbilt needed somebody else as athletic director. I wanted them to get someone from either the pro sports world or the business world at large. No one could have guessed Malcolm Turner because there was no connection to Vanderbilt, no seeming desire to be in college sport, but he was the exact type of person that I wanted from the get-go. And this is his hire. I mean, there's no getting around the fact, like you're saying, that this is his hire. They worked together very closely in the G League. They both went to North Carolina, though they don't really have a connection from there. They missed each other by a year there in the early 90s. But I like the hire, and I think if nothing else, it will get a little bit of juice out of a roster that's going to be pretty depleted next year outside of Saban Lee and Aaron Nesmith.
So let's go into a little more baseball then here. Tell me about this pitcher that we're seeing today, Drake Fellows, on the mound for Vanderbilt. Got outstanding numbers in the SEC. And going up against a guy in Isaiah Campbell that has been dominant at times, but has even been very good when he hasn't had his best stuff.
Yeah, Drake is Vanderbilt's expressionless ace. You won't see a lot of emotion from him in the mound. He had an interesting start to the season because each of his first 5 starts were bumped out of his routine in some way, shape, or form. He either came in too early from the bullpen, had to pitch on 4 days rest, had to pitch 2 days later than expected. Whatever it was, he wasn't able to get into his routine. He was missing his spots a lot. He was missing a lot on the arm side, couldn't place his fastball, and then all of a sudden, going into his start against Florida, which was the first home SEC weekend, week 2 of conference play, it clicked. He went the distance, first collegiate complete game shutout win for Vandy to start that sweep, and he hasn't really looked back since then. His control's been great.
And J.J. Bleday is the top power hitter, but there are other hitters on this team that we should be paying attention to. It's just Bleday's the only guy that's hit more than 5 home runs. He's at 14, but you got guys with speed and find ways to get on base, and for the most part, it looks like a sort of lineup that just doesn't have one way to score. They got multiple ways to score.
Yeah, it can really snowball on you quickly if they get base runners, which is why Georgia was so successful. I mean, a one-hitter Sunday that's the way you stop this team. But Bleday has been exceptional. He was maybe 20th overall pick projection coming in to start the season. He's played his way into the top 10, and what anyone who follows the draft knows is an extremely college hitter heavy draft. So that makes it even harder for him to move up, competing against so many players from similar backgrounds and pedigrees and experiences. But he's played his way into the top 10. I mean, he never goes up there looking for power. He had 6 homers as an everyday player his freshman and sophomore year combined, and now this year he's all of a sudden chasing the Vanderbilt record, which he's on pace to pass from Pedro Alvarez, so we got to get our Pirates mentioned in there, Phil.
Nothing but a disappointment with the Pirates, though.
Yeah.
And we referenced this the first time Max came on. It's funny how relationships work, not only in the professional world, but the friendship world as well. Max is from the same neighborhood, Squirrel Hill, that Phil's from, so that's kind of a cool connection there.
And my mom does his dad's taxes. Is that still the case?
Yes, I
Tax
hope
days
so.
on Monday.
So. Yeah.
She did my taxes, so I hope she did his.
Can you do mine while I'm here?
Probably not. Just give me all your money, and I'll send it to the government for you.
Yeah, I don't know if you want that, Max. So talking with Max Hers, host of the Anchor Down podcast on 102.5 The Game. Max, one of the questions that Phil and I were getting into in the second segment, talking Vanderbilt, Arkansas, is this Vanderbilt team just seems like they hit it. I mean, they're plus 300 as a team. Have they traditionally been more of a hitting team compared to their pitching? Because when I think of Vanderbilt baseball, I think of their major leaders that are pitchers. Is this one of the best hitting teams that they've had under Tim Corbin?
Yes, without a doubt, and a lot of that comes back to the experience and returning players that I talked about earlier. To have 3 seniors in that starting lineup is unbelievable, and, I mean, they returned 8 of their 9 starting hitters. The only guy they lost was Connor Kaiser, who was their shortstop last season, and they replaced him with senior Ethan Paul, who went from second to short and has been really just as good as Kaiser was defensively, which was Kaiser's strength, which has been not a total shock, but it definitely wasn't a sure thing coming into the season. And regardless of whether you look at pitching or hitting, I think this team, if they continue to grow as they have, and I've been saying this since October, November, I think this is going to be Vanderbilt's best team ever, which is saying a lot considering the 3 College World Series teams, the national championship team, the runner-up, and then also the 2013 team, which lost in a super regional that only lost 3 SEC games the entire season.
Jeez.
But I think with the way that this pitching staff has developed as expected, but maybe a little bit earlier than expected, I think the sky's the limit for this Vanderbilt team, and anything short of Omaha is a disappointment.
So the SEC is the best in football. It's clearly the best conference in baseball.
Yep.
In football, there's a little more of an argument with the Big Ten kind of getting up, but I still think the SEC is ahead. With all these new basketball hires in the SEC, you got 11 of the 14 teams or coaches that have been to a Sweet 16. 6 of them have been to a Final Four. How ticked off of the rest of the country is going to be if the SEC is the best in football, basketball, and baseball?
Well, and Ty, you know more about college basketball than I could ever dream of knowing, but to me the most important thing about SEC basketball right now is that these schools are stepping up to keep the coaches in the conference. And I assume you agree with me on that, but to see Tennessee step up to keep Rick Barnes, to see Kentucky step up to keep John Calipari, which I don't think was as much of a question, but I don't know, to see that happen and that these are definitely not stepping stone jobs seems important.
Yeah, boys, just real quick note on that. Barnes is now, I believe, the 3rd highest paid coach in college basketball. Incredible.
Wow.
You know, and football was already at a certain level when the SEC network came about. Baseball also, too. Although I think baseball's gotten maybe even a little bit better since the SEC came around, since the network came around. Basketball, to me, that was the one thing that was trailing, and it was almost like, Mike Slive in the conference said, look, we've got programming. We want eyes on this programming. People don't want to watch a bad product. Get your basketball where it needs to be, and they've done that. So this SEC network has filtered so much money into the schools, and it just also seems to have raised the level of competition more in basketball and baseball, I think, than in football, because all those games are already televised.
Yeah, and I was worried when the network came, which was mine and Ty's sophomore years going to SEC schools. I was worried it was going to be all football year-round, and it has very much been the opposite of that, which has been refreshing.
It's funny, too, because the Longhorn Network,
yeah.
Texas's athletics have taken a little bit of a dive since the Longhorn Network has come around. SEC Network, a league-focused network instead of a one university-focused network. SEC, it's gotten better.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the Pac-12 network drives itself into the ground because of poor leadership and just poor planning. But I think the ACC network, which is basically going to be a younger version of the SEC network, and it seems like ESPN has learned from the few flaws of the SEC network out of the gate, which maybe aren't front-facing, but ways to build things better, to be better from the start, to save money. It seems like it will be what the SEC network is right now in year number 5 from the beginning with the same leadership, which I think will be cool to see, despite the fact that there's less support of the conference at large.
All right, we better step aside for a break because we're going to wrap up the show in just a moment. Max, it's great to have you with us today. I'm looking forward to seeing you throughout this whole series, and we got to get you to Arkansas so you can show Tye a good time.
Oh, my God. Thanks, guys. Woo pig.
You got it. Oh, very good. He even said that correctly. That's Max Hers. Podcast. What's the name of the podcast?
Anchor Down
Podcast. And also will be on the sidelines for the Sunday game here at Hawkins Field. All right, cherry on the top of halftime next on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
A show that lives up to the hype. You're listening to Halftime.
It's your piece of land, your point of pride, your place of peace and quiet. Your yard means something to you. So mow like you mean business with a professional-grade Gravely zero-turn mower. Gravely means comfort. Gravely means strength. Gravely means cutting precision. Gravely mowers mean business. Gravely, build to mow the distance.
Visit Bush Machine and Tractor, 7301 0th Street in Fort Smith, or at bushtractor.com.
Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC has got your next vehicle already sitting in our lot. All you have to do is make the short drive to Charleston and pick out your new or premium pre-owned vehicle from Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC. Red tag prices on every vehicle and no hidden fees. Just a straightforward sales process that allows the customer to get in the driver's seat before, during, and after the sale. So take the short drive to Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC in Charleston or visit us online at huggm.com. Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC, the River Valley's favorite place to get a hug.
Built as user-friendly as it is budget-friendly, the Kubota Z100 zero-turn mower cuts a lawn worth admiring. With smooth controls and a rugged deck, this machine makes mowing way more comfortable. For a limited time, you can get a Z100 mower for as low as $83 a month. Now through June 30th, 2019. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
Visit Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poteau, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
With low interest rates, the home of your dreams has never been more affordable. There's a lot of work to find that dream home, and you need a pro on your side, and that's what Quantum Real Estate has. Seasoned pros that know how to help you find the perfect home, guide you through the financing, and even help sell the house you're in. And if you're thinking about getting into real estate investing, don't go it alone. Get a pro on your side. Quantum Real Estate, a division of Quantum Property Services, encompassing all your property needs. Online at QuantumPropertyServicesInc.com, 479-434-6860.
Quantum. You know, a night out with friends can be so much more. Upgrade your evening at 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Rediscover life's simple pleasures. Dial back, slow down, and immerse yourself in what true relaxation can be. Top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your night on the Avenue.
Frank Roll Furniture, with the best seats in the house for the month of April, is offering no sales tax and free delivery within 30 miles. Plus, yes, that's right, plus 15% off on all cash, check, or card sales, and 10% off on our in-store no-credit check financing. Again, April, 15% off cash, check, or card, and 10% off our in-store no-credit check financing with no sales tax and free delivery within 30 miles. Frank Roll Furniture, the best seats in the house. TVs and appliances excluded.
I think you love that car more than you love me.
Oh, how could you say that?
You hand wash it, you hand wax it, you listen to the same music.
Pure coincidence.
I just hope your insurance company feels the same way about it as you do.
They do. I'm one happy camper.
Maybe that's the reason so many people come to Shelter for their car insurance.